The year is 1978. The song peaked at number 7 on the charts. The beat was disco. Tom Jones covered the song a year later. Some of you might even remember the lyrics. Love is in the air and the whisper of the tree. Love is in the air and the thunder of the sea. And I don't know if I'm just dreaming, don't know if I feel safe, but it's something that I must believe in. And it's there when you call out my name. The 15th day of the month of Av, August 12th, this year, Tu B'Av, was celebrated in Israel and in scattered places around the world as the Jewish Day of Love. Love was definitely in the air. Traditionally, 1 week after the solemn observances of Tisha B'Av, Tu B'Av, 15th of Av, is a favored day for matchmaking and for people to get married. Rabban Gamliel in the Mishnah mentioned that Tu B'Av is one of the happiest days of the year, when young women dressed in white and danced out into the vineyards. It was also a full moon, and many are the stories that link the full moon with magical happenings. I hope that none of you missed out on the opportunity to celebrate love this year, Jewish style. This Shabbat also has a special name, Shabbat NACHAMU, when we are told to read Isaiah chapter 40 as our Haftarah. NACHAMU is a command by God to comfort the people of Israel after all of their suffering. NACHAMU, NACHAMU Ami, comfort ye. Go out there, comfort ye my people. As desperately painful as last week's Haftarah was, this Haftarah is a boundless celebration of the intention of God to bring good tidings to the people of Israel. Halo Teda'u, Halo Tishma'u. Don't you know? Haven't you heard? God is the creator of the cosmos, within which all goes according to the divine will. This week, Shabbat Nachamu, is the first of 7 Sabbaths of Consolation, 7 in a row, and when it ends, we are at Rosh Hashanah. Our Sedra is Ve'et Hanan, beginning with Deuteronomy 3:23 and following. The Sedra itself is not lacking in transformative drama. Actually, it contains what I would call an embarrassment of riches. Through Moses, God commands the following, among many other things. Don't add to the Torah and don't diminish from it. And then there's a recitation of the 10 Commandments, mostly like the set found originally in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, but with a few intriguing differences. And then we discover the original setting for the Shema, followed immediately by the V'ahavta. And then there is some language that was later on taken from here and imported directly into the Passover Haggadah. And finally, the children of Israel are called Am Segula, God's very special treasure. Wow. What can I say? How strange, how unfortunate it is that this Sedra, always read in the late summer, is rarely encountered by B'nai Mitzvah students. Late summer, not going to happen. What a loss. Oh, we could jump into this Sedra in many, many places. For example, why are there variations in the 10 Commandments? Which text is the Ur text? And what does it mean to be an Am Segula, God's special treasure? And how do we go about reading here in our Sedra language forbidding the adding to or subtracting from the text when the totality of rabbinic Judaism is overtly devoted to preserving the original reading of the Torah, while in fact actually adding to and diminishing from the literal text? Rabbi Dr. Lord Jonathan Sachs chooses to focus on none of this, but rather on a less obvious phrase in our Sedra. Good teaching. It says, you shall diligently keep God's commandments and statutes, quote, and you shall do what is right and good in the sight of the Eternal. So Sachs asks, why do we need the end of this verse when we have already been commanded to follow God's teachings? Following what God demands of us surely will lead us to do what is right and good. So what's the value added here? So let's learn a very important Hebrew phrase. Many of you know this. Lifnim Meshurat Hadin. That's the phrase. Lifnim Meshurat Hadin, doing more than the law demands. Rashi will insist that our text, the one chosen by Sachs, is trying to teach us that being punctilious in observing all of the statutes, ordinances, and commandments just isn't enough. To be truly right and good, one must be prepared to move past the literal letter of the law. A truly moral, righteous person will never be satisfied with fulfilling the bare minimum. So, if you have returned an animal that has wandered off from your neighbor's farm, and then the animal wanders off again, you have to return that animal again. You're not done. A truly ethical person will look beyond narrow definitions. A truly ethical person will look beyond narrow self-interest. Stating what the law might be does not fully encompass what we would consider to be moral behaviors. Very interesting. Sometimes doing more than what is required, and sometimes doing less than what is permitted can be the sweet spot of moral behavior. Sachs therefore quotes Rashi here when Rashi states that our verse is actually a call for compromise. Think about it. If all that we do is what the precise law commands us to do, then we are certainly being faithful and we are being inflexible. We are asked not just to look at what a particular law states, but how by going beyond the specifics of the ask, we can more closely approach what the intention of the law really is. Lifnim Meshurat Hadin. It is not enough to do what we are expected to do, because real life is broad and deep and really very complicated. Think about it. Do businesses have obligations toward their employees beyond what the law demands? Our Sedra lays out a version of the Ten Commandments, but no words, not even a sacred text, can express all that needs to be said and all that needs to be done. Is a teacher's job really completed when all of the boxes on the report forms have been checked? Have we fulfilled our obligations to a mourning friend once Shiva has been concluded? Is it okay to move on once we've sent off a check to a cause that we say that we really believe in? When we have praised one of our children or a spouse or a friend who happens to be struggling with their self-image, are our moral obligations truly satisfied? There are elements to a code of law that will never end up being set down in writing. That's where doing right and good, and that's where operating Lifnim Meshurat Hadin And that's where moral excellence all comes in. And that's it. Shabbat Shalom. See you next week. And please take time to share this posting with others. And if you didn't observe Tu B'Av, it's a good time. Do it now also. Have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbat and a wonderful